Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of DETAUX Designers Talk UX.
So, Bob Proctor once said, a mentor is someone who sees more talent in you than you see it in yourself and helps bring it out of you. Today, we have Ashutosh with us, who is a graphic designer and found the right kind of mentorship which helped him move to UX design and lead companies like Microsoft and ixigo. And he's here to share his story with us. Hey Ashutosh, welcome to Detox. How are you doing?
Hey, hello, Atul. I'm good. How are you?
I'm
I'm
great.
doing great.
Awesome. So it was great to know about your story, and what we thought this is worth mentioning and bringing it to you to into detox.
Yeah,
So we would love to know about how you transitioned from a graphic designer to becoming a UX designer and the journey that you followed through. There's so many people and so many queries that we get of designers, existing designers who would want to transition to digital interface design and user experience design. So I thought it is worth sharing with all of these people your experience and your journey, how you what you went through, and then the learnings from it. So go ahead and
sure,
please share your story.
sure, Atul. So, it's really like it's a great honor that I have been given such a platform to talk about this, and I really connect with people that this is something which people actually struggle a lot, like how to transition and everything. But so what? How I'll start is like with one simple thing. What we all need to understand is there's designer in everyone. Everyone has a designer within themselves, and when someone has a design degree or is doing design at some part, be it industrial design, be it mechanical design, designing bridges, even people designing interiors, graphic design, anything, everything has a basic premises to know what you are designing for, to understand it, and then provide a solution for it. UX design is no different. The basis of all design, the fundamental of all design is same. Tools can be different, methods can be different, steps can be different, but the outcome is always what is needed by our user, or in some cases by our client. Like
Right.
it varies from person to person, from company to company, but
Right.
that's the whole premises, and that's what I want to tell each and every designer, any stream they are from. Have faith in yourself and understand the fundamentals of it. You can learn processes, you can learn methods, you can learn tool from anywhere. The thinking, the thought process is already within you. That is the main key. That's the thing which you have to grip on and just continue the journey. So that is the main basic premises of design. And UX design is no different. It's just a different field because of the evolving technology, because of the evolving devices. It is something which it is another medium of communication. It is another medium of transaction between people, between products. So that's why the basic premises, the fundamental of design lies everywhere. And that's why no one needs to worry that if they are a graphic designer, how they will transition.
Right. So how did you start your journey? And
Yeah. So I have engineering background, and I just got to into design while doing engineering. That was one very big blessing for me, because when I got to know about it, I found that yeah, this is my learning, this is my calling, and I have to go there. So after my college, I started with my mentor. Ankur Singh is the name of my mentor. I started my first company career journey with him, and that was the Print Venue was the name of the company. The company was a lot into print design, personalized design, engraving, business card, template creation, and all those things. So that was the first time when I actually entered the world of commerce, understood okay, what it is, what designing on such a scale is, how to design for people, what are their thought process, how you to design for masses. That was my first introduction to the world. That is how I got the exposure to the design. But because as we all know how startups work is that being only a graphic designer doesn't suffice. Like be you are a graphic designer or a UX designer or a web designer, you have to work into every part of it. And when you, especially when you are in a startup of a very small group of 5 to 10 people, you work onto each and every aspect of it, be it design, be it marketing or anything. So that was the first stepping stone where I got to learn about design and understand the world. But that was also the same time when I got exposed to the world of UX design. Earlier, UX was not a term which we were known or discussed things about. It was web design,
yes.
and it was very very like new to the Indian market. People used to design in Photoshop, cut slices, images, and that was all to the UX design or to the product design. But that was something which was at that point of time was evolving. And I'll say the advantage of working into a startup, that I got a bit of flavor of that as well. And that was something which was quite new to me, and at the same time very exciting, because that was the part where I was able to channel my engineering as well, somehow, some manner. Like, I have always been into computers and all those things, so it helped me to channelize that energy as well here. So graphic design was one thing which I was doing, I was passionate about, and till date I feel like design is something which I'm passionate, because of which I'm driving myself in this field altogether. But that was the first stage when I got to understand about product design, web design, what it is, how to interact with products. So it wasn't a very big exposure to it, I was not full-fledgedly working on it, but that gave me a flavor about it. But most of the part I was working to the graphic design part. Then I worked there for 1.5 year, and then from there I moved to a design agency. Now, the moment I moved to a design agency, I got exposure to a lot of varied kind of design. Because when you're working into product company, you are exposed to marketing stuff, uh, photography, photo manipulation, email marketing, social media. So you are exposed to all these sort of marketing and social media around. But when you got to a company, an ad agency, you get exposure to a lot of things like designing logos, handling clients, doing web designs for them, and a lot more. So that was actually the first place where I actually started working on to smaller projects of UX or web design, product design. And that actually helped me to, that actually made me realize that this is something where I'm more aligned to, than graphic design, product or web design, or designing for people who are using a product. That is something which I'm more inclined towards. I like that a lot more. So that was the career, I'll say, the point where I transitioned from graphic design to UX design. And after that I chose deliberately jobs which were for UX design. So after that I moved to Genpact. uh, I was there for 6 months, not for very long. And the funny story is I resigned within 3 months also. Not even like 3 months were my notice period. So like the day I resigned, it was more than 3 months. So I had to be there for 3 more months,
Oh,
because that's how the whole structure was.
oh,
So yeah, that also happened. So maybe, yeah, we'll talk about that later. But yeah,
sure.
so Genpact was a place where I started, like, moving from an ad agency to a proper product company or a proper MNC, where I'll be exposed to only and only UX design or UI design projects, nothing related to graphic. That was my point where I totally transitioned from a graphic designer to a UX designer full time. So Genpact was the first one, and after that I moved to ixigo, and the rest all is history. I am still in ixigo. There was a small gap where I went to Microsoft also. I worked there for a year or quarter, and then again I came back at ixigo. So that's the more or less the journey is. And my main transition happened while I was into an ad agency, where I got an exposure to a lot of kind of projects in a similar manner. So yeah,
Very interesting. You mentioned about having a mentor, right?
yeah,
And so, can you elaborate on how a mentor helped, and what was the role of the mentor that helped you grow, especially because
sure,
it's very difficult. I mean, a lot of people do not get mentors, or
yeah.
might not get the right kind of a mentor. How did it help you own your skills, or maybe what kind of a help they provided to you that helped you grow?
Sure. So I'll say, like, if I didn't had my mentors, I might not be into design stream altogether. Like, I can say that much for sure. Like, that is the truth, and there's nothing besides. Like, because if I haven't met my first mentor, I wouldn't have known about the whole design industry altogether. Like, it was that, like, I might have gotten to known about it later on. I might have transitioned into it. There are a lot of mights, but if he wouldn't have been there, like, it would have I feel that it wouldn't have been possible for me. So I feel like how he helped is, like, he introduced a whole different environment. It opened the Pandora box for me to explore. I didn't had any idea that design is in itself is it stream altogether. We can actually grow. I can actually make a career out of it. I can actually grow and create these great stuff. So if my mentor wouldn't have been there, I wouldn't have known about design. He wouldn't. If he wouldn't be there, I wouldn't have known about things which I know today. The experiences which I have gained, there wouldn't be anything. So I'm in design because of my first mentor. He built me in a manner that I can take feedbacks. A lot of time, your mentors might seem harsh on the front, might seem harsh on the top, but it's not that. They are telling you how to take feedback. They are preparing you for the real world. That's what they are doing, and that's their job. They understand it. You might hate them for it, but they understand it. They take that hate and yet make you capable enough so that you can go out and shine yourself. So I feel mentor is something, a lot of people I have seen who don't have mentor have gone great, but I feel there's always someone who helped them within a line. They might not identify them directly as mentor, but they would always have someone to have their back, have those discussions, and continuously build those things. It can be a peer also. So mentor doesn't mean that they need to be someone who is already into design industry for very long or anything. Mentor can be a person who is sitting beside you in your office. That person, anyone who helps you grow, anyone who helps you understand yourself, anyone who helps you grow within what you actually interest, pushes you towards your interest, that person is mentor. There's no defining age, experience, or anything that how you define a mentor. So mentor can be anything. So that's why I'm saying, like, a lot of people say that they might not have gotten the same kind of guidance, but I feel somehow somewhere they have gotten those guidance. It's just that they don't identify them as mentor. I identify my mentors very clearly. Like, if those two, like if these two people weren't there in my life, I feel I might not have been in the same place I am today. So that's such a big of impact and difference have. Like currently, my mentor, he has pushed me to my limits, like to the limit that I have been working for straight 48 hours. I have been scolded to that level. But when I today look back and see the kind of bond we have, to see the kind of compassion we have for each other, I feel like if that wouldn't be the case, if that wasn't happen, if we wouldn't have those discussions, if we don't had those kind of heated arguments, I don't feel that we would have been in this place. And recently, I was on LinkedIn and I was reading something. I'm not sure who it was written. One person wrote about that. I might disagree with you, but that doesn't mean I don't like you.
Hmm.
So disagreement versus liking or loving someone or respecting someone is completely different.
Different.
So
Very
that
interesting.
is, I feel like that's the importance of mentor in someone's life, and I feel that is very important.
Awesome. I think that's very rightly said. It's great that you found your Dronacharya and then giving you the light towards the right kind of a direction.
Yeah.
I think you were lucky to have that. One more thing is you mentioned that you were not able to grow as a graphic designer, and that's where it was the inflection point. But
Yeah.
I mean, there are great graphic designers,
Yes.
especially outside India. I mean, there's no dearth of, in terms of maybe you can say compensation wise or
No,
career
no.
wise. There's no limit to the career ladder in creative, sorry, visual design and or graphic design or communication design, right? But
Yeah.
there's a shift that is happening in
Hmm.
India, wherein people feel that okay,
Yeah.
there's a limit to where I can grow in graphic design, and then I need to move to maybe UX design or some or product design or digital product design, right?
Yeah.
So, what was your thought process, and or maybe you can put some light on how why do people think so in a similar manner in India, especially?
Sure. So what is happening? I feel why a lot of people are transitioning into UX design is the reason of being startup culture in. And now UX and UI is something which is growing on exponential scale in India.
Mhm.
Everyone is talking about it. Everyone is talking about it. Few times back, people were worried and talking, discussing about design. Nowadays, people are worried and discussing and about UI and UX design. So a lot of time, people confuse between graphic design, UI design, and UX design.
Right.
That also happens a lot of time. So you always need to understand what UX design stands for, because what happens is in India, here we don't have a very strong line between UI UX. The lines are very much blurred. We don't have clear defined areas in India where people define that, okay, this is where I stop working as a UX designer. Now this from ahead here UI designers will work. And this happens everywhere, like not only in smaller startups but in even bigger organizations. We have great UX researchers, but when it comes to UX designer and UI designers, again the lines split very much blurred. So I guess that is the point where people confuse. So like from graphic design to UI design, I understand people moving and shifting towards that, because there people see a lot of exposure coming in. So
Mm.
many startups coming in India, opening on a regular basis, coming with great ideas, with great designs, and that is why people are lured towards, and that's completely fine. But people undermining graphic design, that I feel sorry for. That
Mm.
shouldn't happen. That is bad. It's all about timing. Everyone has their own journey. Someone will reach some place earlier, someone will reach there later,
Mm.
but everyone has their own journey, their own path carved out.
Of course.
So I guess that shouldn't happen.
So I think yeah. So I think you mentioned that it was again your liking and your affinity towards building products, right? And then that's
Yes.
what you're into. This is great. So you also mentioned that okay, you transitioned a lot, right? So from being an engineer,
Yeah.
graphic designer, and then becoming UX designer. Now you're an AVP at
Yeah.
ixigo. But then, so what do you think? What skills did you acquire along the way, and how did each skill help you to be where you are? Right, each
Yeah.
of these fields, right, they have certain
Mhm.
skills, and they somehow are very relevant in case of a UX designer. And of course, every skill that you acquire helps you to understand perspectives and
Yeah.
understand the how would you be able to communicate with your peers as well as like the different teams that you would work with. So I understand that, but in your journey, what do you think each skill that you had in each role that you performed helped you,
Hmm.
and then what are the different qualities that you acquired along your journey?
The biggest thing in design I learned was to listen to people, to understand their perspective, what they need. And that is something which is required. Like, to listen to people is required for you to grow, be it any space, be it a graphic designer, a UX designer, a AVP, or any. Ability to listen to people, ability to understand their perspective, put yourself in their shoes, and understand where they are coming from, even if they have a different opinion altogether. That is very important. And that was something which I learned when I was getting into design, understanding other people's perspective, why they have designed it into a certain manner, how it is different from my perspective, why I and they have a different perspective, what are those things which make me decide it being maybe in red color and someone else defining it into green color. What are those things? Like, that is how it is, and that is how it changes you. That is how it changes you entirely within yourself, not only just that your work. So graphic design helped me to understand that. Now,
Awesome.
those were the qualities which I needed at that time to understand, getting my creative juices flowing through, understanding those things, creating new designs and everything. But when I come to UX design, there was a big fundamental shift. Not, it was not now about this beautiful designs only. It is not only now about beautiful colors only. It's not about having a bright color, but sometimes to use dull colors as well. It is not about showing a user a great graphic, but also to show relevant information.
Simple.
So when you come to UX UI design, a new dimension opens to your mind, that it's just not about beautification only, it's also about the reason for it. But that also doesn't mean that you don't have to beautify. So it goes into vice versa, because there have been so many talks about UX versus UI and all those things. And I feel that whenever we have any discussions about UX versus UI or any sort of those kind of conversations, I feel that I should put myself away from those kind of conversations, because I can never say that okay, this UX versus UI can be a thing.
It'll
I
never end.
don't. It can be. Another shift which I feel from graphic to UX is the whole process of design. Now, on core and on fundamental level, they are same, but thoroughness increases. The number of steps increases when you move from graphic to UX design. In graphic design, you have to understand, you do competitive analysis, all those things, but that is onto a smaller scale. You sometimes go broader also, but yet the scale is always smaller, because you are setting a small campaign or maybe designing a logo to bring attention, understand the client and all those things. But when we design products, when we design UX, it's a lot thorough, it's a lot longer process, and you have to take care of a lot of things.
That's more
So
fun.
that's how things change. The process, the methodology, the experience, handling users, handling clients, those change when you shift to UX. And your conversation starts happening with product and engineer design also. Now that is a very big shift. And what you have learned into graphic design about understanding other people's perspective, listening to people, that comes in picture. That helps you understand product managers' behavior. That helps you understand their perspective. That helps you understand engineers' perspective. And I had, like, because I had an engineering background, that actually helped me a bit also into understanding the engineering technicalities, because I was a bit familiar to them, not up to the mark obviously, but I had a basic understanding how things go, how things don't go, and I can actually discuss with them into those jargons and terminology. So that
Right.
helped me. So one, you are UX designer, I will say that it's not needed that you should know about engineering or product management, but it's good to have.
Good.
If you have that knowledge, if you have that understanding, that is an extra edge. You will be able to understand other people's perspective in a better manner.
Right.
That's what will happen. It won't happen that it will change entirely everything, but it will help you to communicate with them in a better manner. They will start respecting you because of your knowledge.
True.
Those things will happen. And
True.
it is very important that you have, when you have a conversation with people, you give them enough respect that they can give you back. It is always give and take, and that is by sharing knowledge.
True.
So those are the shifts and the skill set which you need.
Awesome.
And when you reach at the AVP level or certain things, now at that point of time, you have to use all those things, but at the same time, you have to put product management also as a
Right.
skill set in your basket and use it for your entire team and everything. So that's how you grow and the qualities you need to acquire.
Awesome, awesome. It's great to know the different perspectives and different. I mean, you've transitioned so much and you have so much experience now. I think it's very valuable for everyone to know. Like, okay, lastly, so you've been a mentor with Designers Academy as well, right? How
Yeah,
has
yeah.
been your experience as a mentor now? You've stepped from having
Yeah.
mentors to being a mentor. How was your experience?
So it's really great. And so with designers I have mentored a full course, and it requires very much dedicated time. It requires a lot of effort, and over the time, like, it is something, it is a very huge commitment. People need to understand this also, because I went into it and I understood the criticality, but things happened. There were few gaps I found, that where I was not able to be there for some sessions, all those things. So it's a huge commitment, and mentoring in itself is a huge commitment. So I feel that what we are doing here at Designers is really great. That is helping people. And when I come in a place where I have to give my knowledge or transfer my knowledge or share some bit of it with people, I really feel proud. Like, I really feel that I'm actually doing something good. I'm actually doing something which I have, which, so it's more or like that what I have gotten from my mentors, I'm just trying to share it with everyone. I am trying to do it with other mediums also, from different places. So for me, it is very important to give back. Right now, I'm at a stage. So I guess this is more with, like, with more experience you gain and how you grow. With time, you understand that it's very important to give back also. It's always not. It's not only about taking in. It's not also about always about understanding, knowing, learning. After a point, unless you start mentoring or sharing your knowledge, you won't learn.
True.
Learning stops at a stage until you start sharing.
Right.
And this helps us to be ready with the current trends, with current questionnaires, current problem statements. Otherwise, we will be in our own silos, working onto our own silo products and knowing nothing about the outer world. You can be updated about product, you can be using other products, but until you understand the challenges of people right now, right here at this point of time, you might not even know that this is a problem which have existed for so long and you didn't was not even aware about it. So that's why it's very important to share, to mentor, and that's the way you start your a different next level of your learning in your life.
Great message for everyone, right? I mean, we in our careers we keep on learning and growing, right?
Yeah,
But I think you rightly mentioned that it's important to give back. And if practitioners don't come and then share their experiences with people, right, then their I mean, the perspectives will not open for from the education point of view. I mean, the education system has to evolve as well. So
yeah,
if that feedback loop from the industry, from the practitioners who have been working in this field, does not come in a frequent manner, and then people don't get involved, right? So then
yeah,
the system would be like how the conventional system of faculties were, and then books were, and then
exactly.
the same kind of education would evolve, right? So I think it's great to have mentors like you, and then in the team, and then
Sure.
helping everyone. I mean, helping, giving back to the community, and then helping people.
Yeah, yeah,
Awesome, awesome. So it was lovely talking to you, Ashutosh,
yeah.
and knowing about your journey, and then how you transitions, and then the anecdotes that came along with that. Any last words from you?
Yeah, so I'm really thankful to the whole designers team that they have me as a mentor, and now being on call. Like, this is something which I guess I have one when I was joining as a mentor. I discovered like I love to converse with people. Like, I really love to talk with people, understand their perspective, know about them, share stories, and that is a very big part of me and my life. Like. I am not on social medias. I am virtually almost like nowhere. I'm off Instagram, off Facebook. I don't use those platforms because I love to connect with people like this, like having conversation with them. I spend my time rather than scrolling through Instagram or Facebook or anywhere else. I would like to spend that time mentoring people, getting to know them, having discussions with them. That helps me more. That gives me some meaning. That gives me meaning to life. Like, that helps me that if I'm able to help someone a bit, if I'm able to help someone solve one small problem, if I'm able to help someone get a small job or anything that they are looking for, I have done something. And that is something which is driving me in this mentoring journey. So I am like very much excited, and thank you very much for having me.
It's
It
our
is really really great.
it's all our pleasure, and it's great to have similar minds together, and this just helps everyone, and it opens up a new perspective to how you look at things, and then contributing overall to the
Yeah,
system that we are trying to develop. Right?
yeah,
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ashutosh, and
yeah.
it was lovely having you here. Lovely conversing you as well, and we hope to have more such conversations with you.
So, guys, that's it for today. I hope you're liking the X to UX stories. If you have more questions, put it in the comments down below. If you'd like to see more videos, please consider subscribing. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.